Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Suge Knight went on Piers Morgan Uncensored and set it off. He talked about a myriad of things, but mostly about the murder of Tupac Shakur, with heavy emphasis on the night that he was murdered. He talked about how a security personnel who worked for the Los Angeles Police Department, Reggie Wright, you've seen him on a number of podcasts, and Suge has mentioned his name a lot. Suge say he does that because he mentions his name a lot. But in any event, he talked about how Tupac did not like Reggie Wright. And Reggie Wright is the guy who is responsible for them not being able to retaliate the night that Tupac was shot. He said, Pac had whooped on this well-known gang member, and they needed some extra backup. He said he contacted his security guy and said, I need about 4 more dudes because, Pac then, jumped on this well-known gang member, right? So he said that Reggie Wright told security to leave your guns at home. One of the security guys who was holding Pac down said, well, if I can't take my gun, I'm not leaving. I'm gonna stay at the hotel because I can't do my job without my gun. Makes sense, right? If you need to work in the capacity of being a security guard where you have to guard human beings, where you have to make sure people are safe. If you don't have a gun, you're usually not going to get any respect, especially if you're talking about guarding somebody in the streets, right? You're moving through the streets of Las Vegas and you're guarding somebody and you ain't got a gun. That may not work out well. So the one security decided to stay back. So anyway, fast forward, the guy opens fire on Tupac and Suge in Suge's BMW. Suge said Pac did not die immediately. We've heard that before because it was corroborated by a police officer who had a verbal exchange with Pac that night. He also said that they were listening to oldies all night. Pac started playing this song called You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me. And he said this was a song he wrote for Suge. He wrote that song for Suge. He said, because, you ain't never had a friend like me. I take your phone calls, I take your collect calls. I give you my last shot of Hennessy. He also said that they were arguing about who was going to drive to the hospital. Pac was trying to go a different way, and he said, no, we're going to go to the hospital on Las Vegas Boulevard because it's more people over there, it's more lights over there. And Pac was like, no, let me drive. You bleeding from the head, you can't see, I can see, let me drive. And Suge was like, no, I'm gonna drive, And like I said, fam, before, I could absolutely see those two arguing about who's going to drive. He also talked about Diddy. He said the reason why Diddy is going through what he's going through is because Diddy had sex with too many famous people. Diddy had sex with too many famous people, and he said that's why he's going through what he's going through. Going back to the night of the shooting, Suge said nobody followed us, nobody came for us. So he said they was just sitting there. Nobody came. They had a lot of people around that night. He said nobody came, nobody followed. Y'all youngsters out there, y'all listening? Nobody came, nobody followed. In regards to Biggie, he said that Biggie and Pac talked often. See, we were under the impression that they had no communication. He said, no, Biggie and Pac talked often after Pac was shot at Quad Studios in New York. And he blamed Biggie and he blamed Puff. But he said they talked often, and Biggie was like, yeah, man, that ain't me, man. That ain't us, man. You know, I wouldn't do something like that. And Biggie said, Puff, he was about to say Puff would, but he didn't say it all the way. He was like, now Puff, Puff, man. Damn, Diddy. Like, Diddy. All these accusations, man, this is crazy. The night Pac died, actually, it wasn't at night when they pronounced him dead. It was actually in the daytime, I remember. It was like, I think it was like midday drive. I was listening to the radio and they reported it. I think it was midday Houston time. But I was at one of my buddies' spot, you know, and when they said Pac had died, I really was surprised because remember, he took 5 and survived. So I was thinking, you know, he had a pulse, he was good, he had hung on for a whole week already. I'm thinking, man, he gonna be all right. But you know how that went, man. You know how that went. R.I.P. Tupac, R.I.P. Biggie. No more talk.